Hello everyone, my name is Ralph Peterson and this is Unapologetically Keto. And I gotta tell you, right, let me just start right off with the understanding that dieting, and it doesn't matter if you're keto, carnivore, on Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, Whole 360, plant-based, who cares? If you're dieting at all, if you're interested in getting healthier, well, even if it's for vanity reasons, which has been my motivation for a long time, I'm happy to say that at this moment, I don't know why I'm happy to say it, but I'm just recognizing that I'm no longer, oh my God, I turned 55 in April, so I'm 54, nearly 55. I'm not trying to rush, I'm just trying to give you some context, because maybe my age has something to do with it. At this age, I recognize how much I dieted for the sake of vanity. I wanted to look good. I wanted to fit into a certain amount of clothes or whatever. And here I am now. I am trying to save my life. I'm literally trying to save my life. I have done so much damage to myself in my life over the last, at least 30 years that I'm scared. I'm just going to call it what it is, pre-diabetic, I had heart disease, chest pains, not heart disease, but I had a lot of chest pains. I had to, I got really scared, had to go to the hospital for it, had to go to the emergency room, still not going away. Had to have a catheter, heart catheter put in, whatever the heck that's called, a cardiac catheter where they look at the plaque buildup in your arteries. And I mean, really, really scary stuff. Really scary. And nobody cares. And I'm not saying it to like boo-hoo me. Here's what I want to do. I want to recognize and I want to commiserate with anybody interested or who needs a little commiseration today. That dieting, whether it's for vanity or for health, is not just an internal battle. As much as it is an internal battle, it really is. I mean, the battle happens between your ears. I can attest to that, I know. But it's also a battle with your friends and your family and your loved ones. It is a real battle. And it's a different battle than alcoholism. I have overdone everything, including alcohol. And when I wanted to quit drinking alcohol for a long time, like more than a year. Same with smoking cigarettes. I remember when I smoked cigarettes, I dreamed of quitting for more than a year before I actually took the steps to quit. And let me tell you what one of the hardest things for me to do when I decided, when I finally was like, all right, I gotta quit smoking. All right, I gotta quit drinking. The hardest thing for me to do, the thing that stopped me the longest from actually making the decision or actually taking the steps in order to quit smoking or quit drinking, and even going keto, let me throw this food thing in here, even going keto, the number one thing that stopped me the most was having to tell a loved one, was having to go, hey, I want to give up cigarettes. World ended. Hey, I don't think I want to drink alcohol anymore. Are you crazy? How are we gonna live if you don't drink alcohol anymore? I mean, could you be more selfish and self-centered and ridiculous? Taking things to the extreme, Ralph. You are taking things to the extreme. I guess that's why I call my show Unapologetically Keto. because for a long time now I've been apologizing. And you know what's funny? I apologize to everybody. I mean, literally, I have to apologize to everybody. It seems like everybody wants a little, and it's this funny thing, because the reason that people didn't want, my friends and loved ones didn't want me to quit drinking is because they didn't want to quit drinking. And as much as I was like, you do you, let me do me, it's kind of unreasonable expectation because drinking is a group activity. Like, let's be honest. And so is eating. Eating is a group activity. And when people rely on, base their whole relationship and their identity around eating, the idea of not eating or being restrictive in what you're eating or choosing to eat at a certain time of day and not at the traditional time that you eat, let's say, it can throw a curveball into the relationships you have with everybody that you were sharing meal times with or sharing alcohol or, going out and all that stuff. And so it's as much as I know that it is an internal battle, it's also an external battle. And I'm coming here tonight. I'm a little unprepared for tonight's show. I have some things I want to talk about. Definitely, I want to talk. I ran a half marathon on last Saturday. I have some great books I've been deep diving into. I want to share that are really, really fun. I did my blood test today, which was not as good as it's been in weeks past because of this little thing called, and I just learned this turn of phrase, carb creep. Have you heard of carb creep? Neither have I. Well, first of all, it just happened to me. I had a little carb creep over the weekend, which is why my numbers are not as good as I would anticipate or historically have been. And then, so I've experienced it, but so I have a lot that I want to share and that I think would be really helpful to share on this journey of going keto and trying to figure out and learn more about my chemistry, my biology. That's really what I'm interested in. I'm interested in what makes me tick, what makes me healthy, what makes me sick, because I'm scared. I'm put too fine of a point on it, but having a history of my dad died at 62 of heart disease. One brother died of an overdose. The other brother died. One brother died of an overdose in his 30s, 33, I think. Another brother died at 54. I'm 54. Maybe he was, I guess he was 54. Died at 54 of heart disease, diabetes, type 2 diabetes, all the things. My aunt died of diabetes. Cancer is pretty prominent in my family. Prostate cancer, lung cancer, stomach cancer, pancreatic cancer. It's all of these things. And, when you're not considering your family history, when, everybody has like a life tree. I was talking to my mom. I'm like, Mom, we got to put together a death tree, and I know it sounds morbid, but I want to put together a family tree of just all the things that people in my family have died of. Because my grandfather on my dad's side my uncle on my dad's side right now is my oldest living male relative. And he is in his 70s. God bless him. Maybe he's nearing 80 at this point. I got to reach out to him and say hello. But my grandfather, his father, died at 66. My dad died at 62. I'm 54 and I start having heart palpitations. I start having chest pains. Like, come on. And then, to top it all off, thank God for 2025 and the ongoing explosion of available data and research, and you can really learn about the new understanding of biology and chemistry in your body, and you can really start going, okay, wait. So potatoes aren't the best for me? Wait. Vegetables aren't the best for me? Wait. You mean avocados just have a really good marketing team, but they're really not good for you? Wait. It's not a good fat? Wait. You know, bacon is better for you than bread? Wait. What are you talking, right? Like, you start, thank God I started to discover keto, discover carnivore, and I'm still not carnivore, I'm really keto. And I think the difference really is mindset, to be quite honest. It's really not that much difference in eating, but because I don't really have any carbs to say anything, except for this past weekend I had a little carb creep, which I'll get into. My point is that I'm coming in today and I'm a little bit maybe I'm naive, maybe that's all it is. Maybe I'm just simply naive, because it's such a dumb thing to say at 54. Are you naive? Or, it's a thing like, how come you should have known better? You know what? There's a lot of things I just don't think about. Like, I don't concentrate on things. And so then when I'm slapped upside the head with something that should have been obvious, and it's not that it was only not obvious because I was thinking about 800 different things. I'm just busy over here. And I'm not thinking about whether or not I'm going to be supported or not supported in my desire to get healthy. Like, it's just, even to say it out loud, it seems so silly. Like, what are you talking about? I just ran a half marathon in, look at this. It's so great. It was a little island half marathon. What the heck are the Dufresne Island half marathon in South Carolina. It was so fun. We had such a great time, Louise and I, because we met such great people. I love the running community. Everybody's so positive and fantastic. It's so fun. Met a lot of great people down there. And this is my 1, 2, 3, maybe third, like, long distance race, like a marathon. I did a marathon and then 2 half marathons. I think that's what it is. On keto, being keto adapted. And it's amazing. What's so fun about it? One, I never got tired. Like, I wasn't like burning out of fuel, which I did when I ran and I was eating sugar. I would literally I would bring goos, like gel packs. I'd pack them in my pocket. I'd bring bananas. I'd bring peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I had these little Crustables. And I would eat, like, I had the schedule. I would eat every 60 minutes while doing a marathon, and I would take electrolytes every 30 minutes. And I'm eating just meat and eggs, and I can run 4, 5, 6 hours and never be hungry. Not once get a craving. Not once crash. Not once be like, I need a sugar. Never. It's wild. It's wild. You know what else is wild is when you get to the tent, and I recorded a little video. I got to post it. You get to the tent when you get back from the race, and there's a long line. Everybody's waiting for food, and everybody is exhausted. And half the people in that line, maybe not half, but a great deal of people in that line waiting for food had just got done running either their first half marathon or their first marathon. Their first ever marathon, first ever half marathon. Many of them in that line are on a health journey. They are trying to be healthier. They have been training for months, getting up early, running during lunch breaks, running late at night when the kids are in bed. Like, they're doing everything they can to be healthier. They finally get to the start line. They all nervous. They run their race. They come back, and they're, exhausted. They're hungry, of course. And the race sets up the food, and it's potato chips, potato salad, macaroni salad, pizza, Twinkies, bagels. There's not a healthy thing being offered to athletes at these races. It is all garbage. It is literally, you just ran a half marathon and then ate twice as many calories after the marathon. Crazy. And I'm telling you, I'm guilty. I have eaten all of that. I mean, I couldn't wait to get there to have the pizza and the bagel and the banana. Go for a run, burn 1,200 calories, stop after your run, have a 3,000 calorie snack. It's not dinner. We're still going out to dinner. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. The things you do for, here, let me show you this. My DBR today was 49, my glucose 83, and my ketones 1.7. Now, why? The reason that I wanted to show this to you, the reason this is so significant is because it's Wednesday. And these are my numbers after a 72-hour fast. And now let me, because I asked I should create a chat GPT that I just call Dr. Boz, because I always say, as Dr. Boz, tell me what the heck is going on here. And let me just give you an example. Let me give you a comparison. This week, my glucose is 95 let's just do today, not Monday. Today, my glucose was 83. Last Wednesday, my glucose was 69. Same time. 3 days fasted. Last week, 3 days fasted, 72 hours. 69 was my glucose. This week, it was 83. Last week, my ketones were bombing at 2.6. Today, 1.7. 1.7. Last week's DBR after a 3-day fast, 29. This week's DBR after a 3-day fast, 49. What is happening? And so I ran into ChatGPT and I said, okay, as Dr. Buzz, give me the rundown of what's happening. Am I getting worse or am I getting better, or have I done something wrong? And it turns out there's two answers according to the Chat Buzz. Maybe I'll call it a Chat Buzz. According to Chat Buzz, two things going on. Number one, I was honest with Chat Buzz when I was asking about this analysis, that I did experience a little bit of what we're going to call carb creep. If you don't know what carb creep is when you have a little, you kind of talk yourself into having a little bit of carbs, like a tiny little smidge, just nothing, because you haven't had any carbs for so long. I mean, this week, I just wrote it down. This is my 17th week. This is week number 17 of fasting for 72 hours every week, 17th week in a row. This is my 135th day in a row of being in a consistent state of ketosis. That is 1 or above. So that's pretty good. 135 days that I've been following this keto diet pretty religiously. And I mean, absolutely religiously. 17 weeks of fasting for 72 hours a week. And something happened this weekend. I recognized it. I saw myself doing it. And I was a little bit like, well, isn't this familiar, Mr. Peterson? Isn't this familiar? And what it is that I had ordered a steak, and the steak came with a scalloped potato. And Louise likes scalloped potatoes. It's like when I get a burger and they offer me French fries. I don't want French fries, but Louise would eat a couple of French fries. She wants them. She's not on a keto diet. I'm not judging. So I won't say like, you can hold the fries. I just like, give them to me. I don't care. I'm not tempted. I'm not going to eat them. Louise has a couple. She's happy. I'm happy. I eat my plain burger. We're all good. No big deal. But this weekend, we're at a fancy restaurant watching the football game on Saturday night, I guess. And the scalloped potatoes come with my steak. And I don't think anything of it. I just cutting up my steak, and I start, there's the au gratin or whatever that comes with the potatoes. It's a little cheesy, right? So it starts coming down the plate, and so it's having a little pool of cheese and butter and starch with a potato, of course. And I start my fork, unbeknownst to me, by the way, my fork dips in this, cuts out a piece of steak and then swirls a little, just the edge, just a little bit, just a little edge of the starchy potato. I swear, it's like a minute, like just a little bit of the potato. And then the next bite, again, I wasn't paying attention. I'm watching the football game. I apparently did that again and again and again. And I was like, who the hell is eating these potatoes? Me? What is happening? I have to scrape them off my plate. I'm like, here, Louise, take these potatoes. I can't even be trusted with potatoes on my plate today. And that's carb creep, where you just kind of introduce, what's the big deal? What's the harm? It's just a little bit, no big deal. And then Monday, so I fast starting on Sunday. Monday, I take my glucose level, and it is, drum roll please, 95. Carb creep, 95. Ketones, 1.4, which still, nutritious state of ketosis, I'm going to keep that 1.4. DBR of 67, which is a pretty high DBR for me lately. My DBRs have been under 50, generally speaking. So carb creep is a real thing. And what's interesting about carb creep is it never leads to anything good. It leads to just a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And I want to say that I am doing all the things to ensure that I won't have any type of cravings. I am still on the Zepbound. Still on the Zepbound. Still loving the Zepbound. I'm still eating salt, although I just emptied this salt container, which is pretty wild. It took me it's taken me 17 weeks. 17 weeks of just nibbling on a piece of salt here and there when I'm fasting, and I went through a whole jar like that. I have not had any sardines since I did my first sardine fast 18 weeks ago. That's how I started my fasting journey here. But only meat, only black coffee. And so you would think that I have zero desire setting myself up for success when it comes to any, any inability to say no to a little carb creep. And I still have a little bit of craving for carb creep. I still, I'm watching a Instagram reel or something, and Dave Portnoy comes on there and does a pizza review, and I'm like, that does look like good pizza. Damn it, Dave. Somebody's going to do like an egg bacon review show. So, here's the other thing about carb creep, and this has been something that's been happening more and more. I got to get it under control, so let me be honest with you all. I love a flat white. I do. There, I said it. It's a flat white. It's a coffee made with Restado shot. I don't know. From Starbucks, and they traditionally make it with whole milk. I don't like whole milk because I think whole milk has too many carbs. And so I have it made with half and half, or I'll have it made with heavy cream and water to reduce the carb load, but it's still just a wonderful, creamy, delightful beverage. And I never have it. I fast 3 days a week, so I only drink black coffee and water, salt water. So when I'm fasting 3 days a week, I never do. But then traditionally, on a Sunday, and the reasoning is because I'm going to start fasting after this meal. Traditionally on a Sunday, when I take guitar lessons, I go to guitar lessons every Sunday night. And on my way back, I always pass a Starbucks, and I always just pull in, get me a flat white made with half and half or heavy cream. And I enjoy that flat white like a fat kid enjoys an ice cream. I mean, I love it. I love it so much. But this past weekend, I'm on vacation in South Carolina. We get there on Friday. We're there all day Friday. We're there all day Saturday. It's rainy on Sunday. We drive to Savannah, Georgia. We have a great day in Savannah, Georgia. And then we fly home on Monday. And all that is to say that I probably had 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, if I'm being honest, flat whites over the weekend. There were 12. The rumor was there was 12. I didn't see 12. But the rumor was there was 12 Starbucks on Hilton Head Island. So it's this little island in South Carolina that we stayed on. There's 12 Starbucks. I found 5 of them. And had a flat white every time I found one. Like it was a competition. And the result is, I think that's the reason why my glucose was 95 and my ketones are at 1.4 on Monday. And B, even after 3 days fast, my glucose is still high at 83. And my ketones are still not, at 1.7. I would listen, I'm taking 1.7 all the way to the bank. I love that it's 1.7, but it's not 2.6. And 2.6 was my ketones last week. 3.5, pardon me. 3.5, that's even worse. 3.5 was my ketones last Wednesday after a 3-day fast. This week, 1.7 after a 3-day fast. So, again, I asked Chatboz what the heck is going on. I told her about the potatoes, told her about all the flat whites. I was honest with her because here's the thing. If you're going to work with Dr. Boz, be honest with her. She can't help you if you're not being honest, so be honest. So Chatboz, I was honest with. And it said a couple of things that are really interesting. Number one, it said that all weekend long, even though I was using, heavy cream or half and half on my flat whites, it's still milk sugar, which still is being converted into glucose, i.e. carbs. And so, of course, with my little potato carb creep, what happened was all weekend long, I was refilling more glycogen, which resulted in seeing a little more insulin. That's the bad part. So this is Chatboz talking, so that when you hit goal on your 72-hour fast, you're starting with more glycogen in the tank, as opposed to when you normally start a fast and you don't have all that glycogen in the tank. So it takes longer for your body before your body says, okay, time to empty and crank out some massive ketones. That's number one. And then number two, which is also interesting, is that it says, I'm also leaner and more efficient now. And I think Dr. Boz actually talked about this. She talked about how, I remember it was so funny the way that it happened, because she lives in this imperfect world where she wants to just be, she wants to be emphatically honest with you and tell you the truth about everything. And she doesn't want to be rude in any way. And she doesn't, and so, you can see sometimes that little internal battle as she's trying to say things truthfully but nicely. I always say, and I stole it from Ringo Starr, I always say, with peace and love. That's how I preface if I have to tell you something honestly that's not going to be so great. With peace and love, may I say, right? Like that kind of thing. So she lives in that dichotomy as well. She's a doctor, so she's always having to try to have difficult conversations with difficult patients, and she wants to do it in a way that is helpful, not hurtful, right? So we're on this group call, and a lady was talking to one of the participants. And one of the participants saying, like, oh my God, my ketones were at a 6.1 or something. And Dr. Boss hesitates for you had to pay attention to her in order to see the hesitation because she was so fast with it. But she hesitates. She's like, well, that's good. Okay, that's great. That's great. And then not 5 minutes later, somebody else is asking Dr. Boz a question and about the efficiency of your body, how your body becomes more efficient over time and you start to have less and less excessive ketones in your bloodstream, which when you're checking your blood with one of these little monitors, what you're testing is how many ketones are actually free floating in your bloodstream. And Dr. Boz said, she doesn't want to say because the lady who just bragged about being at 6.1 ketones is still on the call. So Dr. Boz, she has this little moment and she just comes clean. She's like, well, I didn't want to say, but yes, you don't want to see if you're seeing ketones in excesses of 4, 5, 6, it means your body's broken. It means that your body is overproducing ketones. It's not being efficient at all, right? And it's funny because I just remember it because she had I saw that little dichotomy. I'm a management trainer. I live in that dichotomy where I'm always trying to tell you that, give you the lesson that is probably, is hopefully appropriate at that time without destroying your hopes of being an effective manager, right? How can I, do that balance beam? And so that's why I recognize it so much. But so I just remember her saying that over time, your body becomes more efficient at fuel burning, and especially the more lean you get, which is what Chatboz over here is telling me, that the more you're in your, let me just repeat what she said. You're in your 190s, meaning I'm in my 190 pound range, by the way. By the way, let me say this too. I'm wondering, I didn't weigh in this weekend, and I didn't weigh in last weekend. And the reason is because I was busy I had to get up and go, not last weekend, weekend before. And then last weekend I was in South Carolina. I wasn't where a scale was or where mine was. Who jumps on other people's scales? Not me. I trust one scale and one scale only. And so I haven't weighed myself in a couple of weeks. And that's odd for me. I've been weighing myself every day for the last, 10 years. More than that. Every Saturday getting on the scale. Every single Saturday. And you know why? Vanity. And that's the dichotomy I live in because I don't want to be doing this for vanity reasons. I want to be doing this for health reasons. I want to live longer. That's the whole point of being keto. That's the whole point of maybe that's what I'm going to do. I just noticed the mute button on. Has this been on mute the whole time? Wouldn't that just be hilarious? Not in a good way, but maybe. You're in the 190s. You lost a lot of fat. Again, this is Chatboz talking. As people get leaner and more keto adapted, their cells often burn ketones more efficiently, which is what Dr. Boz said. Blood ketones can run lower even when they're doing great metabolically. But lower ketones than last month doesn't automatically equal worse, which is what I always think. It can mean I'm using what I make more efficiently. Combine that with carb creep and your numbers make perfect sense. So Chatboz over here is giving me the reassurance that I didn't ruin anything by having a little carb creep this weekend. It didn't take me out of nutritional ketosis. It didn't spike my blood sugar up over 100. But the lesson here is, number one, I'm going to tell you the biggest takeaway for me. The biggest takeaway is don't just go ahead and just make the statement up front. Please don't give me whatever it is you don't want to eat. Don't have it on your plate. That's, you know what, maybe get a separate plate. Like, hey, if Louise was like, hey, I would eat your potatoes au gratin, then I go, can you just give me a side plate for the potatoes au gratin? I just want my steak without the potatoes. Can I get a side plate of it? And then I could just separate me and the potatoes au gratin. So I won't the carb creep for me is a real thing. It was a real eye opener. It was a little upsetting because the weird thing is I was not eating enough of the potato au gratin to have any kind of like exploded, like my mouth is like, oh, I've been dying to taste you, potato. I mean, that's why, what's so funny about that is when I was doing Weight Watchers, and I did Weight Watchers for I did Weight Watchers for like 6 or 8 years, a long time. And I loved Weight Watchers. I'm a big fan of Weight Watchers. I'm a bigger fan at this moment of keto, of course, because I understand how metabolism works and mitochondria. And I just got a book on, it's an older book, but it's a book on the liver book. And I'm getting ready to deep dive into this because I want to know. And I can't trust my doctor to be as curious about the liver as I am, or as curious about my liver as I am. Your doctor's not going to love your body as much as you love your body. Put that should be on a bumper sticker. It's like a step parent is never going to love your kid as much as you love your kid. A daycare is never going to love your kid as much as you love your kid, right? Like that's like the reason why, stay-at-home moms are so important, right? Like so valuable because the stay-at-home mom loves their kid more than anybody else is going to love their kid, right? My doctor is not as interested in my body, my liver, my blood, my ketones, my health as I am. So you gotta take control of it, right? You gotta do what's right for you. And the big takeaway from Weight Watchers is that when I don't remember what I was saying about Weight Watchers. I had a point about Weight Watchers, but I can't think of it. I was saying that I love doing Weight Watchers. And when I was doing Weight Watchers, I would track all my food, but that's not what I was talking about. And I would make poor decisions and then better decisions, and then it would work and then it wouldn't work. I don't know what I was going to say about Weight Watchers. I don't remember. Lost my train of thought because I started talking about my liver. Also, I just want to share this. I did start reading Any Way You Can by Dr. Boz. And this is one part autobiography about how she came in to understand the value and importance of keto with her mom who had cancer. And then it's also an instruction guide on how to start a ketogenic diet. And the title, when I first read the title, I thought it said Any Which Way You Can, which sounds like, I think it was like a Clint Eastwood movie in the 80s, Any Which Way But Loose or something. I don't know why I made that reference, but then as I started reading the book and she made the reference to that turn of phrase, Any Way You Can, I was like, okay, what she's saying with the book title is if you're metabolically sick, you have diabetes, type 2 diabetes, you are, have a heart condition, you have, cancer, pancreatic or whatever. I mean, when you're faced chest pains, and that's where I was at, when you have chest pains, you go from being a skeptic on everything to leaning into everything. I'm willing to do any way you can. That's her call this is her call to action. It's like, listen, hey, what should I do about my diabetes? What should I do about my chest pains? What should I do about, my overweightness? What should I do about my arthritis? She's saying you should do anything you can. Any way you can. No matter what it takes, be willing to do anything you can for yourself, for your health. Nobody Nobody loves you and is more interested in you than you. And if you're not interested in you, well, there's no surefire way than getting your body to go, you know what? You don't like me. I don't like you either. So with a little internal battle, it's going to be me against you. Your body against your body. Not a good place to be. I've been in that place for a long time, and I'm telling you, friends, not a good place to be. I also started reading. Yeah, I'm going to say this. And I said it when Devin was on. Just talked about it a little bit last week when Devin was on. That was a lot of fun, too. I really, really enjoyed having him on. I'm starting to really be curious. My interest is piqued. And finding more spiritual connections as well while I'm on this keto journey. And I should also say that every morning I make this little monster drink where it has salt, creatine, and methane blue. And I drink it every morning. And I don't know if it's the salt. I don't know if it's the creatine. I don't know if it's the methane blue. I don't know if it's ketosis. But over the last 17, 18 weeks, and I mean this sincerely, over the last 135 days, I've gotten a lot smarter. And I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm telling you, I'm seeing things more clear. And I don't mean like everything's clearer now, like I'm walking down the street as if the sky's bluer. That's not what I mean. I mean, I have a technical job where I read technical information, and I'm a teacher. I have to explain technical information, and I'm understanding it a lot better than I've ever understood it. And I'm in seeing it in ways that I've never seen it before. And the more I read about the impacts and the benefits, the brain benefits of keto, being in a state of ketosis, the brain benefits of taking methylene blue on a daily basis, on the benefits of having creatine, taking creatine as a supplement, taking magnesium, taking vitamin D3, K2D3 every day. I've been consistently doing all of those things for 135 days, and I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I'm smarter than I've ever been. I'm sharper than I've ever been. That's number one. Number two, I'm stronger than I've ever been. I'm not crashing ever. I'm always have full of energy. I'm full of energy. Last night, now this is not going to impress you, but last night I have these bars in my gym that I hang from. And last night I hung, just a static hang, just hanging myself, holding on for dear life for 1 minute and 10 seconds. Doesn't sound like a lot. It's the longest I've been able to go. Like I finally got to 1 minute, and then I could barely do 1 minute for like weeks. I keep trying, and I'm like barely at 1 minute. And then I got 1 minute and like 4 or 5 seconds once. And I was like, okay, 1 minute, 4 or 5. Yesterday, 1 minute 10. That was the longest I've been able to hang. And again, I'm just getting stronger. My point is just simply, I'm running half marathons and marathons on keto without having to carb load, without having to do the pasta, without having to do the gels. Don't crash. Don't end the race going, oh my God, I'm so hungry. I'm never hungry. I'm never hungry. Which is really awesome. Really, really awesome. And also, I seem to be getting more interested in the spiritual well-being or the spiritual realm. I have pulled out my Bible and I have started to leaf through it. And started really thinking about, and again, it all makes sense, of course. I'm at the age where, I'm coming up on, the times when my dad passed. This is my dad was 50. I think he was 53 when he found out that he had 8 to 10 years to live because of emphysema from smoking. He had lung cancer. And so, it sits with me here, that at my age, my dad found out he was going to die in a very short amount of time, 8 to 10 years. What was that like for him? What would that be like for me? What would that be like for you if you just found out right now? My dad, always been a religious person. My dad was a minister. So he's always been a religious person. But, as I think about it, he did kind of go, not that he wasn't all in already, but he did kind of go all in, times 10 when he got that cancer diagnosis. And he learned he didn't have a lot of time left. He really got serious about it. And he didn't just get serious about it himself. He got serious about it with others. He always wanted to talk about it. He always wanted to bring it up. And, I was a young kid in my 30s, and I was like, yeah, Dad, I get it, because you can't tell a 30-year-old kid anything. But couldn't tell me anything anyway. When I was 30, I thought I knew everything. And then when I was 40, I was like, God, I really didn't know much about when I was in 30. And now I'm in my 50s. I'm like, boy, I was a dumbass when I was in my 40s. Every year I think I'm smart. And then the next year, I'm like, what a dumbass he was. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to put it all together. Why am I now all of a sudden really more interested in spirituality and religion, in the Bible, in my health, everything is clicking for me. And, as far as my mental capacity, my physical capacity, and I guess it just makes sense that I'm also at the same time searching for higher meaning, and I'm open to receiving whatever that means and whatever that looks like. And as I don't know what it means, I don't know what it looks like, and I have no judgment either. I don't have any judgment. There's this guy, I've been reading this other book I want to show you called What Got You Here Won't Get You There by Marshall Goldsmith. And it's the kind of stuff I'm into. It's the kind of stuff I've always been into, is self-help books of trying to get better and trying to figure out how to navigate in the best way, the most just way, not selfishly, like, well, how can I get the most for me? But how can I be the best person? How can I make the biggest impact? And I feel like over the last 135 days, and maybe I'm just being able to articulate this now, but I feel like I've been reborn, honestly. I feel like I've been given a second chance. I feel like I have been baptized in some spiritual keto, maybe, creatine dipped substance that has awakened every fiber of my being, both physically and mentally and emotionally. And if that is the result of fasting every week for 72 hours, or the result of being in a constant state of ketosis for 135 days, or a result of both of those things at the same time, and the result of maybe my age and my chest pains and my heart scare, not exactly facing death, but thinking, it's weird too. Like, I wasn't ever facing death, clearly, obviously, but I thought I might have been. And when you think you might be facing death, from my experience, limited as it is, I didn't know the difference. I didn't know if that was it or if it wasn't it. I didn't know is this how it feels? I don't know, because obviously, what do I know, But it was the scariest thing ever. It was the scariest thing ever. And so I don't know if it's ketosis. I don't know if it's the no carb diet. I don't know if it's the creatine. I don't know if it's the methylene blue or the fasting or the sauna or the working out or the 72-hour fasting. I don't know. Or maybe my age or the scare that I had. I don't know. But I wish I could packet it up in a bottle. I wish I could pack it up on a bottle and I wouldn't even sell it. I would give it away for free. I would give it away to my best of friends, my closest of families, and my worst of enemies. I'd give it away to all of you. I'd give it away to anybody. So I feel amazing. I feel amazing. Not everything is perfect. I'm still struggling. Still having a little bit of a battle with the exterior, the interior, you know. I'm still human. But if I could bottle this up, I would give it to everybody. But because I can't bottle it up, or at least I don't know how to bottle it up, let me give it to you straight. This is what I would recommend you do. Start watching Dr. Boss. Get her book any way you can. It's on Amazon. It's where I got it. Join her 21-day metabolic class. You can't now because in January because it's full. She only does it twice a year. So you're going to have to wait until September when she does it again. But do it. It's worth it. Start watching her YouTube channel. Every Tuesday night she goes live. If you can't make it on Tuesday night, 4 o'clock East Coast time, then don't. Just watch the replay. Start doing yourself a favor. Get interested in your own liver. Get interested in your own body. Get interested in how mitochondria works. Start taking your health serious. Slowly, not all at once, but slowly start introducing fat, butter, whole eggs, beef, bacon. Not a lot. Don't kill yourself. And start reducing the carbohydrates, the processed foods, the potatoes, the French fries, the bread. Just start slow. You don't have to go all crazy. Start slow. I started slow. I mean, I've been baby stepping. It's why I can't be carnivore yet, because carnivore is advanced. It's too advanced for me at this moment. And I don't know why. Maybe it's just a mindset thing. And then when you're ready to go all in, go all in. Just take a toe and dip it in. And, here's something that's wild. All right, let me give you a little tip. If you want to go keto, you want to get rid of all processed foods, all processed carbs, you're going to what? I'm not going to have the pizza. I'm not going to have the donut, the Danish, the bread, the whatever. And you do really good. 2, 3, 4, 5 days a week. You go 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then, you know what? Somebody comes in with something so freaking great. And you're sweating bullets. You're like, oh my God, I just can't. I need to try it. It's just, with peace and love, have it. Have it. Start again. Have it, then start again. Failure is part of the journey here. Enjoying a slice of pizza or a French cruller, which was my brother Scott's favorite donut, a French cruller. I love them too. I really do love them. Although I think my favorite donut has always been like a Boston cream. I love that Boston cream with the chocolate on the top and the soft dough. Boston cream is, I always loved French crullers because they remind me of my brother who passed. And so, if I were going to have a donut and it was between a Boston cream and a French cruller, I would have a French cruller, not because they were my favorite, but because they were my brother's favorite. And I like that. I remember I sent him a whole dozen of French cruller donuts for his birthday once. That was super fun. Like I had to mail them overnight so they weren't stale. The memories. The memories. If I had the ability to convince you to do anything, whether you go keto or carnivore or join Weight Watchers or Jenny Craig or anything, regardless of what diet you choose, I hope that you just start. Just start anywhere. Start anywhere. Take away one thing. If it's a sugary soda or if it's a cream in your coffee or if it's you know, using one piece of bread instead of two pieces of bread for your sandwich or something. You know, like, start somewhere. Start small. Don't be overwhelmed. Take it easy. It's worth it. You are worth it. You're worth it. You're worth it. And I'm talking to me as much as I'm talking to you. I'm worth the pain and the agita and the inconvenience and the eye rolls that everybody gives me when I say, you know, sorry, I'm keto. Sorry, I'm fasting. I'm not eating today. I'll go out with you, but I'm not going to eat with you. I'll make it for you, but I'm not going to eat it, Sorry. But I'm worth it. You're worth it. It's worth it. I'm going to get out of here. See you later.